My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome back to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, filling in for Dave Dubow. And have you ever wondered how you can invest in real estate without using any of your own money or even visiting the property? Well, today, my guest, Dustin Carroll, an up-and-coming multifamily investor based in the Midwest, he's here to share his secrets on remote investing and raising capital for lucrative deals. Dustin, welcome to the show, man. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I'm most interested in hearing about the remote investing part, but let's rewind to the beginning. Like, what got you inspired and got you hooked and got you into the game of real estate?
Well, I guess, what kind of got me started is my first experience was like probably about 10 years ago. I ended up getting a single family home for my grandparents when they passed away. And it was like a really old house that hadn't been updated since like the 70s.
Yeah.
But it was really nice. Large, I think it was like 3,400 square feet.
Wow.
And so like we did a little updating to it, but it was a lot of work. But that was really my first experience with like any type of real estate. So we ended up selling that house, and just kind of gave me a little bit of introduction into real estate, what's involved. But it wasn't until like I moved, actually based out of Denver, Colorado, but I invested in the Midwest. So, but anyway, I went to like a lot of people do. I just saw like an ad. It's probably been 4 years ago about these hotels where they have these weekend real estate events. They try to get people to come out, one of those free events. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
You know, obviously the way people make money in this world, in the US, the main ways people generate wealth is either real estate, stock market, or owning a business or creating a business. So like I went to this event, and that was kind of where I got my firsthand knowledge of like the real estate business. And essentially they were only teaching you how to invest in your own neighborhood, your own backyard, I call it, your own town. And it was basically fix and flips type of investing. And you know, I looked into that and I'm like, all right. So I looked into it a little bit more. I'm like, I'm gonna give that a try. And their strategy was like start out saying like wholesaling, which is a lot of people's way of generating income when you don't have any to get into real estate.
Yeah.
But they were using the really old way of doing it where you like put out these signs out on the street, postcards on the streets saying, call this number if you have real estate.
Yeah, I mean, it still works to this day, but the internet has certainly changed things.
Yeah. So like they were just using this really old school form. And like I think every time I tried that for like a week, and I think every time I put a sign out, the city came by, picked it up.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, they'll do that. It's a bandit sign. They put it up in the middle of the night and they take it down by noon the next day.
Yeah. So like I started going out. I'm like, all right, let me go out. I'm in Denver. So like prices here are a little bit higher
Yeah.
than a lot of markets. So like I went out and I started looking at houses, and I'm like, I guess I was going to try to do a fix and flip. So I probably looked at 20, 30 houses, looked at a few condos, and just didn't quite ever was able to make it work, just money wise. And so I'm like, I don't know. But I knew I was committed to doing real estate. I'm like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, maybe this fix and flip and is it gonna work? So I'm like, I'm like, all right, I don't know if I can make it work here in Denver. So then I just came across one of my buddies who's like in self-development. He's kind of a coach. And he started talking about these people that he had met at one of his events he's at in Las Vegas, I think. They were in the same kind of like networking group for personal development. They had some of the same coaches, and they did remote family investing, multifamily.
Yeah.
So like I was focused on like single families, like flipping, and I'm like, And they strictly do remote multifamily properties, buy and hold rentals, so no flipping.
Mm-hmm.
So like I watched a lot of videos of theirs on YouTube, and I'm like, I kind of like them. They seem what their message kind of resonates, and I thought they were giving a lot of information for free.
Yeah.
So like I started watching a lot of these videos, and I'm like, you know, and I'm gonna reach out to them, set up a call. So I did, and the focus was to start on like 2 to 4 units,
Yeah.
and yeah, remotely. So you'd never go visit the properties, and a lot of their success was in the Midwest. So naturally, I'm like, all right, they're having success in the Midwest investing in 2 to 4 units. So it's like, well, I'm gonna give that a try. So then I ended up working with them, and I mean, bought into their program, and learned a lot. And so I started, yeah, looking at like deals in like Indianapolis. I think it was like the first market I put an offer in. Um, and Indianapolis, St. Louis is where I really got dug in and got a few properties. And then Springfield, Massachusetts, which is of course in the Northeast, but they had a really good per capita, a lot of duplexes. So I kind of got touched there for a while and got a property. But yeah, the thing is, like most people are really turned off when I would tell them like thinking I'm crazy. Like you're never setting footing on these properties. You're actually never going to the town to view them. And I'm like, no, everything's done through technology. That's like I communicate with the realtors, I communicate with my contractors, my property management. We do FaceTime. We'll go out and look at the properties, and that's how everything is handled.
Yeah. It's like a different mindset. It's $1,000, 1,000 mile mindset, never, you may never see them before you sell them again. Maybe you sell them in a few years and maybe you never even had to go there one time. So I think that's really, it's an interesting way to look at it because a lot of people do get stuck in the property management of their own buildings.
Yeah,
They're like,
yeah.
I can go do it. So guess what I'm doing tomorrow? All day. I'm gonna
Hmm.
go and putt around at the house. Where's my husband? He's at the house, putting around again, trying to get it rent ready. So yeah, definitely not the passive income that is typically promoted. So what sort of obstacles have you had to try to get through to get to where you are today?
Well, the number one was like I definitely came into this business with not a lot of capital of my own. So like I guess the mindset when you start is, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy real estate, but you have to have a lot of money to get into real estate. And you have
Yeah.
to have your own money. And on the 3 deals that I have, 2 of them I put half the money up and I raised the other half through a partner. And
Mm-hmm.
in one deal I put no money in and the partner put all the money in. So
Nice.
you basically, yeah. Once I got over that obstacle, I realized it just opened the opportunities for me. Like my mind just like one realized that I don't have to invest in my own backyard. Two, like the capital, like you can raise the capital. And also three, you can do it remotely and travel all over wherever you want to, travel all over the world and speak through people through technology, which nowadays is so advanced. I mean, it's like you're actually there.
Yeah.
Um, and so like, yeah, so like I've never set foot on any of the properties I own. Everything's been through technology. Um, but some of the, yeah, I've had a lot, like obviously when you're dealing with other people, and I feel like people are emotionally attached to their properties. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times the seller, they don't like to budge a lot, or they're very strict or about specific rules they want done, or and obviously from my place, since I'm not actually visiting the properties, I try to have at least 3 contractors go out to the property during my
Mm-hmm.
due diligence period to actually look it over for me, take video and everything. So like sometimes they're very hesitant, like, well, why do you need so many people to go out there? Or they assume you're not interested in the property, or they're like there's some gimmick. But then some people are more understandable. Usually if they're like an investor themselves. Because a lot of these properties I look at need a lot of work to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, definitely that's where the lift is. So now that you know to where you are today, what would you say your biggest obstacle is now?
Oh, it's definitely raising the capital because I've actually turned my focus more to apartment units.
So
Um,
bigger buildings.
right, where you essentially sometimes you're gonna have to raise $1 million on a property. So
Yep.
definitely, yeah, raising capital and understanding that part of the business a little bit more in depth.
Mm-hmm. So as far as your real estate investing so far, what's your unfair advantage? You know, what comes easy to you that other people might find difficult to do?
Hmm. Honestly, I think I just the challenge of real estate to me, like I've come to realize there's always going to be no transaction in real estate is going to go perfect.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to go something that's going to go wrong. There's always going to be something unexpected that's going to happen. And it just does. It's worked like that in every deal I've done with, and some
Mm-hmm.
of my investor partners, same thing. So like I just have kind of realized that very early on that like it's not going to be perfect, and to also keep some extra reserves in case something does come up. Because I learned that I was set to close on a quad in St. Louis. It was during Christmas, like 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a really bad. They had a lot of cold weather, and a couple of two of the units were vacant. So like, obviously, when it's really cold, there's potential for busted pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to I was talking to another investor mentor of mine who works with me a little bit. He's like, make sure you're able to do that final walkthrough before you sign the papers. I'm like, okay. And we did, and we got in the basement. The basement was covered in water. So
Mm.
like one of the units had flooded, had a busted pipe in the kitchen. It had flooded for like 2 days, and nobody caught it till we came down there.
Did you have like a
And
swimming pool going on?
honestly, it was close. I think he had to pull his pants up a little bit, walk in it. It was
I remember one time,
yeah,
just
it
so
it
everyone knows that it's serious. We had a January possession, and we're up here in the middle of Canada, the prairies, and it's minus 67 Fahrenheit, and the pipe burst up in the floor of the basement, and it filled
mhm.
a 6 foot basement, so that the first step down into the basement was there, and the
Wow.
next step was water. So there was literally like 5.5 feet of water, the whole basement, like a swimming pool. It was coming out. The only reason it didn't go any higher, it was coming out the basement windows, yeah, on the outside of the house. So it was like freezing solid on the outside of the thing. So
Oh,
suffice it to
man.
say, we pushed that closing back, and they fixed it up, and we took possession in March. And I think we actually ended up assigning that deal, and someone else dealt with it. But it does happen, you know. Be careful with the pipes out there. It's not easy, but it's good that you did that walkthrough. So how did you end up passing on the deal, or what did you do?
Yeah, we ended up passing on the deal because the rehab become much larger, and he just wasn't willing to work with us. And it
Yeah,
was
reduce
really,
that price. Get that price down now. Like seriously, you've got a flooded basement and you've got busted pipes, and look at the floors are probably all messed up now too. And
yeah, and we basically
water's
are
no
like, hey, we're
joke.
willing to do the work. Just come down. We asked for a price reduction. Like, we'll put the work in. You just have to come down on the price. And he, for some reason, he just couldn't cross his mind. He's like, ah, it's already at a great price. And we're like, hey,
Yeah,
there's mildew all in the bathrooms, on the walls. This is not the same
yeah,
property that we originally were going to purchase. So
yeah,
yeah, it's part of the
yeah.
business.
So what are you doing to raise money right now and to fund these deals?
I started going to networking events,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, social media. I also have some other people that work with me that are capital raisers who are, they've raised capital for other deals. And they're definitely, they had the connections.
Oh,
So
yeah, you're in
like,
the multifamily business now.
right. Um, so like, yeah, they basically have, so I will try to have like 2 to 3 people on a deal, try to help raise capital. Um, because we're talking, yeah, most of these units, some of them are 30 unit deals. I know I had some investor partners. We haven't done a deal together, but we're in the same circle. They've done a 96 unit. I think they had to raise like $3 million. I think they had like 10 different people in the deal. Investors in the deal they've raised capital from 10 different people. So
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So, um, when you're raising capital, what have you found to be most effective to keep in touch with these people who are potential investors?
a lot of them, it seems like to start with, you got to find some way to add value to them, to their life. How are you providing them with value? And, so like we're giving you an asset that is going to provide, yeah, long-term capital, equity, cash
Mm-hmm.
flow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we try to send it that way. Like we're trying to help you add extra value to your life. And, a lot of people like they have just money sitting around. It's just sitting in like an IRA or 401k they haven't touched for years. And they
Mm-hmm.
maybe get like 8% on their investment. You know, a lot of these deals, you can double the money in 6, 7 years. Um, and also one of the big perks of multifamily, the apartments, is there's these extra, like the acquisition fees and disposition fees that are built into the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely make them a little more lucrative than the smaller deals
Yeah.
that was originally in.
Well, when the decimal place moves, there's more money to go around. So when you're
Mhm.
presenting these multifamily deals, or even the ones you're doing right now, are you presenting it as a business model, or is it more of an investment in Dustin and what he is?
A little bit of both, yeah. Um, it has to be an investment, Dustin, because they're putting their money in my hands, so that it has to be a little bit about them trusting me and
Mm-hmm.
really trying to build that relationship with them where they're comfortable understanding that they're going to take care of their money and make sure this investment works out for everyone. And if it doesn't, they're going to make sure they get their money back, that they're taken care of
Yeah.
first and foremost.
So for people to invest that money, significant capital, they need to like, know, and trust you. So what are you doing for those sorts of things in your business?
Just kind of like I said, really get to know the people, like maybe sit down at first, kind of talk about some of their goals, what they're interested in, try to just build some rapport with them. And then eventually then start talking about the investment, you know, kind of make it,
Mhm.
like I said, try to show them where the value is in them, kind of just see what they're looking for, because everybody's got a story, and each of these properties is a story in itself. Like there's
Yeah.
so much that goes into these properties. There's so much involved in the city, so like you really have to put a presentation together when you sell these multifamily properties.
Yeah. Because they're long-term investments. They're going to
Mhm.
be in there for a while. So if people want to connect with you, they want to find out more, or what should they do? How do they find you, Dustin?
They can send me an email at 724 Dilla Road Investment at gmail.com, or connect with me on Facebook Messenger. Those would be the
Mm-hmm.
easiest ways right now. Um, so eventually we'll have a website and all, and more social media handles, but for right now, that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you stopping by, Dustin, letting people know that you can invest outside of your own market. A lot of people are afraid of that, but you're doing it, and so can they.
Right. And I don't think I'd want it any other way at this point.
Yeah, right. No tenants, no toilets, not in your town. You get
No,
someone else to handle it. Okay. Well,
that's
until
right.
next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.